Rod Williams, Chief Commercial Officer of Universal Hydrogen. You announced a letter of intent together with SEA Leasing for up to 30 aircraft. And of course, with your hydrogen product, you can offer on it. What's your timeline? When do you expect to take delivery of the first hydrogen ATRs?
Our plan is to certify the STC for the retrofit conversion kit by 2025 and for first deliveries to follow shortly thereafter.
And of course, SEA first needs to source these aircraft, or are these the aircraft they have already in their fleet that you want to convert?
Well, ultimately, that'll be up to SEA or really any other customer. Typically, we're talking to customers that have either a Dash 8 or an ATR fleet, and their goal is to take their current fleet and convert it.
Is this your biggest fleet announcement yet?
It is.
Yeah. So this confirms your intentions, your plans, and your confidence in the market of promoting hydrogen as the fuel of the future.
Yeah, we've had really good commercial success overall and a high level of engagement from the airlines. This is the 5th LOI that we have announced. We have a number of other LOIs which are signed but still confidential. And overall, the engagement has been fantastic. Over 45 airlines representing over 600 aircraft. We have various levels of engagement with around the world. So tremendous interest in our products in general, and as well as getting to a true zero carbon solution within the turboprop market. So we think the timing for what we're doing is excellent.
Can you explain more, how is your universal hydrogen concept working on an aircraft like the ATR?
So there's two or three fundamental things that we are doing. First of all, we're creating the STC retrofit conversion kit itself, which will take an aircraft and have a certified conversion package ready to take an aircraft and convert it into a zero carbon powered aircraft. Secondly, we're developing the hydrogen fuel cell powertrain, which will replace the turboprop engine in the aircraft.
You do it yourself?
We are developing the hydrogen fuel cell powertrain ourselves, correct. And then the third pillar of work that we're doing is the hydrogen fuel capsules, or fuel modules as we're calling them, which are essentially serve as both the fuel tank within the aircraft. They're loaded in the back of the aircraft and connected into the hydrogen fuel cell powertrain.
Can you show it on the model where it will be?
Well, in the engine nacelles, where the turboprop engine goes today. So we take out the turboprop engine and replace it with a fuel cell powertrain, which consists of a fuel cell stack, which is supplied by a company called Plug Power, and an electric motor supplied by Magni-X. In the case of our 2 megawatt powertrain system, and then the balance of plant is designed and engineered by ourselves. And then the third thing, of course, is the hydrogen fuel capsules and modules, which again serve as both the fuel tank in the aircraft as well as the mechanism of transporting the hydrogen from the point of production to the airport and onto the aircraft. So,
and that will be at the back?
They would be loaded in the back of the aircraft, that's correct.
How does it affect your seat capacity on an aircraft like this?
It does reduce the passenger capacity, but the important thing of that is because of where we expect the cost of hydrogen as a fuel source, as well as the cost of the powertrain maintenance cost, is by 2025 we expect the per seat economics or the per ton kilometer economics of a cargo aircraft to be equivalent to the cost per seat of a Jet A1 aircraft, even though you might lose some seats.
And what range do you get with your product on hydrogen?
Yeah, we're designing the products to have, and we have two different versions of our hydrogen capsules. We have a high pressure gaseous capsule and we have a liquid hydrogen capsule. On the high pressure gaseous capsules, all the models, all the conversions basically have 400 nautical miles on gaseous. That's over and above 45 minutes of reserves. And on liquid hydrogen, it's 550 nautical miles.
Yeah. You now select the ATR from SEA. Previously, you said you were developing it for the Dash. You have the possibility to change it, to swap, and use them, maybe the Dash 8 as well, coming from the SEA fleet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The one thing that's common, particularly for the Dash 8 300 and the smaller models within the Dash 8 family, as well as the ATR 4272, is that the powertrain is essentially the same. It's a 2 megawatt class powertrain, and therefore all the development activities we're doing on the powertrain are equally applicable to both families.
Yeah. But is one aircraft better than the other, or are they comparable?
No, they're very comparable.
Yeah. you seem to steal a march on ATR itself, because they say they're going from sustainable aviation fuels, maybe hydrogen, but now you say, okay, we go on hydrogen on the ATR. So you are far more ahead than ATR itself, it seems.
Well, listen, for us, it's pretty straightforward. We believe that hydrogen as a fuel source, particularly in the 40 to 60 seat market, is a perfect fuel source. It's economical. It provides a true zero carbon solution. SAFs are at best an offset scheme. SAF will certainly have a place, but particularly for larger and longer range aircraft. But in this segment, there's no reason by 2025 we can't have a true zero carbon solution in place.
Yeah. But then you have the aircraft, the hardware. What's the roadmap for having enough hydrogen available? Is this going quickly enough according to your wishes and your plans?
Yes, absolutely. The level of interest in companies coming forward and committing to green hydrogen production is increasing every day. And just as one small but large evidence of that was the MOU that we signed earlier this week with Fortescue Future Industries for a global offtake agreement where they will supply green hydrogen to us on a global basis to supply us with the green hydrogen to fuel the regional turboprop fleets. And that's an agreement that goes up to 2035.
So if there is an airline operator or an airline that wants to use the ATR with your hydrogen system, you can offer a product including the hydrogen itself.
Correct.
Will be available around the world.
Correct. In fact, that's what Universal Hydrogen's business is about. We want to be the supplier of hydrogen to the end customer, in this case the airline. We don't necessarily aspire to be an aircraft OEM per se. We'll work with anyone to incorporate our capsule technology in particular into any type of vehicle that could be powered by hydrogen, and then have us supply the logistics and the hydrogen fuel solution to the end customer.
Yeah. But we are here today for another press announcement from Bestfly. They signed an order for another ATR and their first Embraer. Their CEO, Mr. Pereira, said, "Oh, this sounds interesting. Can you offer the hydrogen product on the ATR in Africa as well, or is the infrastructure underdeveloped there?"
Sure. I think the answer is yes, absolutely. It does have to be developed. There's no question that...
But that's everywhere.
Pardon me?
That's all over the world. It needs to be developed everywhere. So
yeah.
Africa is not behind other regions in this case.
No, not at all. And in fact, there's already been some pretty strong interest. Namibia, for example, has expressed a pretty strong interest at the country level of becoming a large green hydrogen producer. So, as I said earlier, there's considerable interest, which is just increasing every day for people to get into the green hydrogen business. You do have to, and that's one of our missions over the next few years, is to develop that infrastructure, particularly on a regional basis. But that's going to be our business.
What's your biggest challenge, and what's something that wakes you up in the morning or in the night and you say, "Ooh, that's really a trouble"?
I think we think of it in terms of risks, and the biggest area of work that we need to work on is probably the certification path. This, in many ways, to certify this, the use of hydrogen as a fuel source in aviation product is relatively new. So that's the area that we're spending a lot of time on, is really working with the authorities on the certification basis of this.
Yeah, that's also something that Guillaume Faury of Airbus said, that the regulatory process might take the longest. Are you benefiting from Airbus pushing hard for hydrogen, and does it benefit your own project?
I think if more OEMs were to get on board at the various highest levels to support hydrogen as a fuel source, we'd be all well served.
Thank you.